So this is the question actually. Question 2. He said this code is supposed, let's listen to the question very closely. He said this code is supposed to take
two numbers.
two numbers,
Divide one by
divide one by another, so that the result is equals to
equals to
1.
one.
So you should know that your result must be equals to 1. And they already gave you an hint. They said and display the result on the screen to be equals to 1. So they now said unfortunately there is an error in the code. Find the error and fix it. So what they wanted you to do now is to check what they gave the numerator and denominator, so that your result will be equal to 1. Tell me what to do now.
10 divided by 10
So
equals to
what does it supposed to be now?
1.
1. So what, where will you make the correction now?
We add 10. 10 divided by 10.
You add 1 to this 0 to make it 10,
Yes.
or you erase it and write 10 direct,
We erase it and write 10.
and then run your code, it give you 1. Just about you being, if you are able to read it very well, you understand the question.
I've get it now.
So
I've done it yet.
that's a very simple question without even you using your interpreter. So the what about question 1?
Question
Are
1
you able to attempt it?
not done.
So let's do
I
that.
only do question 2 and question 4.
What was in question 4? Okay, that was the conversion, casting of the thing. So let me on my Jupyter notebook so that we can do that question 1 on our interpreter. Tell me something. Whenever you encountered error on your remind me, I've always thought of that and figure it out. I think I figured it out when I was trying to do something this morning. So whenever you encountered error, just come here. You know we're working with kernel now.
Yes.
IPY kernel, abi? So just come to this kernel here. Click on interrupt. It will stop that error, and you'll be able to do whatever I want to do. So this is solution to question 2. Let me write it on my Jupyter notebook, my interpreter now. Question is just for us to, they already give us values to variable name numerator. This is numerator, then assign to value of 10, denominator to 0, and it said result equals to numerator and denominator. So why whatever question you are given, try to cool down and understand that question. You don't just have to rush and make an assumption. Understand the question first before you attempt it. So they already gave us all the code, like the hints on what to do, but we're just told to fix the error. This is the question now. Let me put this. So it said this is the code. This code is supposed to take two numbers, divide one by another, so that the result is equals to 1, and display the result on the screen. So unfortunately they said there is an error in the code. Fix the error, find the error and fix it so that the output is correct, so that the output can give you 1. So what we just needed to do now is just to put 1 here, so that it can make it 10. so that I can print out your result. So if I run it now, it will give me 1, but
Zero,
it is
1.0.
1.0 now. But if I want it to be in 1, to be an integer, this is a floating point number, so I can just make a conversion from integer or from float to integer.
Float to
So integer like this.
No, it's not the result. Print is under the result. It's under the result that you convert it, not under print.
I did not get. Let me control Z so I can see. It was like this now initially.
Okay. Yeah,
So then it is
STR
str now. We have its own parenthesis now. So that will make it 3. So if I run it now, see it prints
Same
1.
thing.
Still
But if
same.
we run it on that result too, it will still give us same answer.
Yeah, that's why I said you can do it. There are different ways to solve question. You can say 2 plus 2 equals to 1, or 2 plus 2 equals to 4. You can also say 3 plus 1 equals to 4. Just for the main thing is for you to arrive at that same point, and it should make your code readable. That's just it. You can do that route. You can make your conversion at the final point or here. Just this, we already assigned the result to it, so we already made a conversion, so we just only pick the result which we already make a conversion to. So it's still the same thing. So let's move to question 1 now.
Question 1.
Question 1 says, in this scenario, it said in this scenario, 2 friends are eating dinner at a restaurant. They said the bill comes in the amount of $47.28.
That is float.
The bills. So from what we are given from this year now, let me read the question for you. $48.7. And they said the friends decide to split the bills evenly between them after adding 15% tip for the service. You know, say calculate the tip, the total amount to pay, and each friend's share. Then output a result saying each person needs to pay so. So let's do that now. From the first, let's write out whatever we're given here, the hint we're given here. Can you just look at my screen? Whatever we're given here, we're given bill, we're given. Hope you all know that dash. This dash I put there is just like a gap, a place for you to fill in the answers. So tip now assigned to bill, then total equals to bill plus then share equals to, and now set print. That was our initial code they were given. So the results this were the codes we were given, like to execute at this. All we needed to just do is just to feed in those values we exactly to it. We've been given the variable names and then bit of. So they now said, let's read the question again. They said in this scenario, 2 friends are eating dinner at a restaurant. They said the bill comes in the amount of $47.29. So you assign this $47.29 to the bill. So $47.28, sorry. So from there now, they now said
We will include the dollar.
dollar is just like a number string. You can put it in as a comment like this. Dollar. All we needed is just the value. Abi? So now said the result, the friend decide to split the bill evenly. The friends decide to split the bill evenly between them after adding 15% tip for the service. What does 15% means? Is the same thing as 0.15 now,
Yes.
mathematically. So that's what we add to the tip. So they said the friends decided to split the bills evenly between them after adding 15% tip. They added the 15% tip to the bills, to the initial bills, which is this. So 15% is the same thing as 0.15. So I think we are done with that. So let's move to this. He now said calculate the tip. The tip, are you listening?
Yes.
The tip, the total amount to pay. The total amount to pay and each friend's share. Then output a message saying each person needs to pay so.
Following.
So if you read the question very, it said calculate the tip. So if you look up here, it said calculate the tip. To calculate the tip now, we already have the value assigned to tip now, which is this the value. If you look at the screen, this is the value we've gotten that. Now said calculate the total amount to pay. The total amount to pay now, for the value we have the bill plus. So to get the total amount to pay now will be the bill plus the tip. I don't know if you get my point. So initially the bill was 47.28 and the tip was that bill, which is 47.28 times the 15% that was added after the tip for the after adding 15% tip for the service that was added for the bill. They added a 15% tip for the service. So that will be our total now, which is tip like this. That will be our total. So what to now do now to the share now? Can you all look up? The share, they said they share, then and each friend's share, then output the result. So what you needed to do now is to find the share of each person. You divide it by 2. So the total will be divided by what?
Total will be divided by 2.
2.
That will be bracket. Total. Doesn't need bracket,
It doesn't. So from the result now, from here they said then output a message saying each person needs to pay. You've been given the message to put.
Yes.
Each person needs to pay. Then copy this message here from the question, paste it here. Then concatenate it with the share. You know when the share now, the share actually means what each person will take. And that's what you want to output here, you want to print out. But they just told you to add a message to it. Then output a message saying each person needs to pay so, followed by the result number. Are you getting it now? So following by the result number, we needed to concatenate it. The result number now will be share, abi? Then we needed to concatenate that share with our message for it to print out, abi?
Yes. Plus
So to do that now is add the plus sign like this.
quotation.
Where? You do not need to add. I've already put a space here.
Yes. Can it work like that?
It will work. Unless we needed to make a conversion.
What of space?
Where?
Including space.
You can do that. You can do that if there was no this place there. There wasn't space.
Between the letters.
Which letters?
The word.
So as I said earlier, I just run my. So as I said earlier, this is showing up a type error now. All we needed to do now after we run it is showing up a type. Can only concatenate string, not
not
float
float
to string.
to string.
So all we needed to do is to make a conversion now, which is casting. From when you divide the total by 2, it's going to give you a float. That was right. You already knew the shared result. The answer, the shared result is a float. That's why I said not float. So you needed to make your converter to string for it to show here. Or if you actually want to get your result as an integer, you can make your conversion from integer to string, from float to integer then string, or you make it to string directly. So all we needed to do now is just use the str function like this, then your parentheses like this. Then when you run it now, it's going to show us our result as a floating point number. You see now, it's showing us the result. This is the result now, 27.186.
But when
Let's come back to
you can leave the other questions, upon it.
say
You can leave the other question, the last 2 questions,
okay.
because of the time.
So this is just the solution to the question. So we've done the questions 1 now, and we've answered question 2 now. So question 3, I think we did it in class and gave it as a classwork. For those that were not around, it's just about how to just concatenate those words. That's an it. And here too, all we need here is just to cast, make a conversion. So that's just all about the assignment.